Green, blue, and green, that's what we rock. On top, right with us. Glad to hear y'all dropped in. On top, slide with us. Walk and take it locked in, and let's go.
Hey guys, what's going on? It's Dave and it's Walt, and this is Hawk Talk. What's happening, Walt?
How you doing, man?
I'm good. So you're just coming in hot from Oregon.
Coming in hot. Yeah, we just got in 30 minutes ago.
Is that right?
Yeah. It took a little longer than anticipated. That's for sure.
Well, do you have the girls with you?
Yeah, we got the girls with us.
Okay.
So we started the drive yesterday. Got about halfway to like Stockton, and then drove the rest of the way this morning. And so it's like it's always tough leaving that back half because once you start to get in LA, it's traffic, So like that, leaving there was like 5-hour drive, ended up being like an 8-hour drive because once we got down to LA, the traffic hit. It was just ridiculous.
That's right. I forgot about that aspect of it because I normally try and time that. I do a lot of trips up to Redding, so that drive from Redding to the Grapevine is like, those cartoons where they just have that runner. It's like the same scenery.
Yeah.
That is the worst drive, man, through there. It just never changes.
California farm country. Right?
Yes. Yeah. All the agriculture. So heck, man. So you were up in Oregon. I saw you were at the Oregon State game. I mean,
Oregon game, yeah.
Yeah, Oregon game, yeah.
Yeah, gets SC. It was a big win. It was good to be back. It's always good to kind of get back on campus and see some of the former teammates and stuff like that. A couple guys got inducted into the Oregon Hall of Fame, and then also the College Football Hall of Fame. Haloti Ngata, I played with him my freshman year. He got inducted to the College Football Hall of Fame. Just a beast. And I mean, he should be an NFL Hall of Famer as well.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Man, that kind of stuff is always fun, catching up with brothers you played, at the various levels with. We get a chance to do that a lot at San Diego State as well, and hanging out with the alumni, getting down on the field, watching the game, and especially the big win.
Yeah, it was trying to see where we place up, and then we had UW, this past weekend, and so just kind of sitting decent for the playoff, and just trying to see what the run's gonna look like. It's anyone's game now.
Well, it's who's going to beat Ohio State is what it is, and certainly Oregon is one of those teams that has the firepower to do it.
I mean, they may not get past Indiana though. I don't know. I mean, Indiana's not a walkover team either.
No, they're not.
And I know that because they beat us earlier in the season. So.
Yeah, they're certainly formidable. That's for sure. Yeah. And so, hey, before we start talking Seahawks football. And we bring Brendan on. We have Spa Talk again with us this week, talking about the final stretch of the season. How are the Hawks shaping up? What does their depth chart look like? Because Brendan knows all of it, all the injuries, all that stuff. So we'll bring him on here in a little bit. But then we have a special guest. You and I met Price Hilton at the tailgate for the Rams game, and he came and hung out with his pops, with John, and he said he knows Seahawks football. And I said, okay, man, well, let's have him come on the show because that's what we do. You never know who's going to come on the show. So Price is going to come and spit some wisdom and hang out with us. But we'll bring him on in a little while. But before we go and talk about this huge victory, tell everybody about the really cool Legion of Boom SWAT team video game that you guys are doing. I just saw the commercial. It's awesome. I didn't know if it was a parody. They're just kind of saying, hey, whatever the Legion of Boom, we're a SWAT team, because I'm not a gamer. So, tell us about that.
Yeah, the game is Raid 9. It's a SWAT-based first-person shooter video game there, where it's not like your typical just run through the map. You have to be very tactical and strategic. They really encourage like the team aspect of it. And so this is actually kind of funny too. It's some of the creative marketing internally within Void Entertainment, Interactive, that's the company that produced the game. One of the guys is two guys. One guy is a Seahawks fan, diehard Seahawks fan, and the other guy is a Niner fan. And the Niner fan actually came up with this idea of like, how are we going to get this game on console or be able to promote this game? And they were looking at like, what are some cool, being football fans, they wanted to kind of present it into that kind of realm and space. And they were like, well, Legion of Boom was one of the most dominant, sports team, groups there. And so, he pitched that concept, and they kind of reached out to a couple of guys to see if they were interested in participating. It was, me, Cam, Sherm, Cliff Averill, Mike Bennett. I mean, it was good just being able to reconnect those guys in a different capacity. They took us through some SWAT training, some brief SWAT training to kind of walk through the do's and don'ts, how to breach a room and things of that nature. And it was pretty cool. And then they had some banter of us, playing the video game and, kind of acting a fool and being silly, just seeing the different personalities kind of pull up and pull out and stuff like that. So it was a good time.
So you said Michael Bennett, so they had the D lineman in there too.
Yeah, it's funny because you have I guess there's two Legion of Booms, right? There's like the defensive back Legion of Boom group, right? That was the initial where that the moniker of the name came from, and then it became like the whole defense as Legion of Boom as well. Okay. So that was like incorporating the whole dynamic in that regard, yeah.
And the Cliff Averill and all that. No, that's cool. Like I said, man, when I was watching, I'm like, gosh, is this just kind of a fun thing that they're doing? But because I saw the actual trainer, and the elbows down. Everyone thinks you shoot like this with your elbow. No, elbows are down, and you're pivoting, and you guys are like giving each other a hard time, but you're learning actually the tactics of it, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, it's you see the level of attention to detail, right? And the trainer there, he's been career SWAT, doing it for 30 years. He's seen a lot. He understands the relatability of the attention to detail that we've taken into our particular craft, even though it's a different type of circumstance for them. But that level of attention to detail, and so like he's seen the correlation there. He's seen how the guys were being attentive and listening and being able to pick that stuff up. And so it was fun. It was a fun aspect to kind of venture down in that. And guys' personality come out, and you have some laughs within that too. So it was a good time.
So how long did it actually take you then to give them enough whatever stuff that they could then take the game?
Yeah, the shoot, it was probably about 5 to 6 hours.
Okay.
I mean, there's some downtime too. They're getting set up for their shots and cameras, stuff like that. So it is a lot of waiting around. But I mean, we were there from, I think call time was about 2:00, and we wrapped about 7. And so so like it was pretty relatively quick. For a shoot in that capacity. But
for sure.
It moved pretty fast, and also there's some times where it's kind of you're waiting around, waiting for the next scene to go on and stuff like that. And so it was
So when the people are playing the game, they're playing themselves, right? Or are they
they're playing the characters of the game.
So okay, so somebody would be you, somebody
would be no. We they were just doing it as just like a the commercial spot of us, being reunited as Legion of Boom, this formidable team, and then that translation into the game though. So they did a really good job of like putting it together within that regard. And again, it's a game to where you can go online and the 5 of us can go play together online as that SWAT unit, and that's like what they really encourage within the gameplay there.
Yeah, and then you can play against other teams, right? So someone can actually be paired up against Legion of Boom.
Or I guess you're doing the missions.
Yeah.
So it's more of the scenario of the mission, but you're doing it with your team. So like I could probably pop in and play with 3 other guys on their team. Type of situation. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. So hey, before we move on, just one other thing, guys. And Walt, you haven't been to this new spot, but we're at Bruno's now in Huntington Beach with our watch party. I sent you some pictures last week with Real Rob. Real Rob showed up. And it was off the chart. I think we had 80, 90 people there.
Oh, nice.
And of course, talk about Legion of Boom. Holy smokes, man. That was a pretty impressive defensive deal. We'll talk about the game in a second, but I just wanted to talk about Bruno's in Huntington Beach. If anybody's looking for a spot to come watch Seahawks games, we will have Walter will get down there because it's kid friendly now. You know, it's all and the owner there, Daryl, has done a great job. We have microphones. We could do all kinds of stuff. It's a great crowd. And so anyhow, come check out Bruno's in Huntington Beach and hang out with us, and we'll cheer the Hawks down here. Now let's bring Brendan in and let's talk and let's break down this last week's game and what the rest of the season looks like for our Hawks. What's up, Mr.
Hello.
Spot Talk?
Hello.
Hey.
Thank you for having me. What's going on?
Pretty good. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good tonight.
Yeah.
Good to see you guys. Good to be back.
Likewise. Yeah. So hey, let's just do it, man. We know the record, right? So, but you always have that insight of where we maybe have still some weaknesses or strengths and things like that. What are some of the things that you're talking about on your show that's really kind of glaring from this season?
Well, I think that one thing that I'm really kind of hammering right now is talking about the offense, because I see there's some Seahawks fans out there that are getting a little bit worried about the offense over the last month. And the reason why is pretty clear. They're not as explosive as they were in the first couple months of the season. And that's true. And I really want to talk about why that is, because I think that some people are kind of missing what's really going on with this offense. And specifically, I'm talking about what Rashid Shaheed has done to this team, because a lot of people, they look at Shaheed right now, they're like, oh, he's got 4 catches in 4 games. Why isn't he doing anything? And what I see when I see Rashid Shaheed is a player that is forcing defenses to play completely differently against Seattle than they did before. For the first 2 months of the season, before the Seahawks got Shaheed, these opposing teams lived in single high. They constantly stacked the box, single high safety. We don't think your receivers can beat us down the field. So we're just going to have one safety back, and we don't think JSN can beat you down the field. Now, JSN kept beating them down the field over and over and over again. But I'll tell you that these teams did not learn. These teams did not stop. These teams never went, oh, maybe we should actually respect JSN's downfield game. No, they were like, we're going to keep stacking the box. And what happened there was that the Seahawks were very explosive, but they couldn't really run the ball. In the first 2 months of the year, Seattle had one of the worst running games in the league. So a lot of people, they look at this last month and they see a lot less explosives offensively. But when I look at the offense, I see a running game that has improved massively. And just to illustrate that, rushing EPA per play, first month of the season, Seattle was, I think, 27th in the league. And then in October, they were 25th in the league. This month, or November, they were 13th.
Wow.
And in the last 4 games, they're actually 10th.
Wow.
So it's a trade-off. You have made yourself worse in terms of your passing game and explosives, but you've made yourself much better in the run game, because now teams look at Rashid Shaheed and they go, we have to have 2 safeties back now. That guy's too fast. If we sit in single high, JSN and Shaheed are going to destroy us down the field. So what that has done is opened up the run game. And I really try to highlight that, because obviously the explosive passing game is very fun. And I understand that there are a lot of Seahawks fans that are like, man, I miss the explosive passing attack.
Right.
But this team needs to be able to run the ball effectively, because they run the ball more than almost anybody. There are like 2 or 3 teams in the NFL that run the ball more than Seattle. And we don't throw the ball. Yeah, we don't throw the ball very much. The only team in the league with fewer passing attempts than Seattle is Baltimore. So they needed to find success on the ground. And that is what we have done over the last month. Yeah. And that is more important, I think, than the explosive passing plays, because there needs to be a balance. And this team is built to run the ball. And early in the season, they kept running the ball, even though they didn't do it well. Now we're doing it well. And that means the scoring is going to be a little bit slower, because when you're running the ball down the field, it takes longer. And there are going to be less explosives. But that doesn't mean it's worse. So
I mean,
that's
because
one
what
thing that I really want to hammer here.
Well, and the thing that I'm seeing, and this is probably true too of the back end last year with Sam being in Minnesota as well. It's teams are pressuring more. If you look at the Rams game, first off, right? I mean, they forced 4 interceptions. You see him getting visibly flustered in the pocket. This same game here. I mean, we get 4 sacks. I know we talk about our offensive line, being hit or miss there, but I mean, also Brian Flores knows Sam Darnold. He's just there, so he brought more pressure, and he's probably one of the defensive coordinators that probably brings the most pressure in the league through creative schemes, which does show some too high look to Brennan's point within that capacity and really mix things up within that regard. So, I mean, that's something that I have noticed, which again will also allow the passing game not to be effective because there's guys open, but that pressure is getting in his face. I mean, we do have to rely more on the play action game, but the play action is not even there because guys are coming. I think it's going to be a very interesting dynamic as we get later into December, going into this postseason. But I mean, I agree with Brendan to where, like, I think the point of emphasis has always been running the ball, and we haven't been able to do it. And I think that with Shaheed there does allow us to be more effective in the run, control the clock, and now we can play that Baltimore style football is what McDonald comes from, right? And where you're really relying on that defense and you're slowing the game down, and then you're going to be able to take those shots because, again, once we start getting into, deeper into the winter, hey, guys don't want to get hit anymore in the face, and when you're running the ball effective like that, it starts to wear guys down. It starts to lull defensive backs to sleep. And, JSN he's going to get his opportunities. I mean, he's still playing as the best receiver in the NFL right now. So I think they're going back to run the ball, playing heavy defense. And I think this is going to be a different type of Seattle Seahawks team that we're going to be seeing as we ride into the postseason.
Well, I think we keep talking about the offenses a little bit more, Brennan, and I think to get your opinion on two aspects. We know the offensive line is still gelling and getting better and showing signs of improvement on both sides. But where does Cooper Kupp fit into this? And then of our running backs, which of the 3 primary guys do you like best?
Well, when you're first talking about the Cooper Kupp element, I think the thing to keep in mind is, again, this team doesn't throw the ball very much. Mm-hmm. So when you're throwing the ball to JSN as much as we are, and we are throwing the ball to JSN a lot, there's not going to be that much for anybody else in the passing game. Like, you've got Shaheed, you've got Kupp, you've got Barner, and then you've got whatever little bit you have left for Arroyo and the running backs. If this was a team like the Dallas Cowboys, then everybody would have a lot of catches, but that's not the reality of this team. Mm-hmm. Again, the only team in the league with fewer passing attempts than Seattle is Baltimore. And Baltimore is a very unique team, right? Because they have a very unique quarterback. So understand that those guys, they're never going to put up big numbers because there's no way to put up big numbers in this offense. I think Cooper Kupp is doing fine. I think that if you isolate him, if you take him in isolation, he's doing all right. He's doing his job. I don't have an issue with it. I think that it's just a matter of there's only going to be so many opportunities in this passing attack.
You know what? What I'm hearing you say, and with Walter, is that this approach, I think, bodes well for both winter, as the weather starts to get worse. We're not hucking the ball all over the place and susceptible to all of that. But also, it just seems like more of a playoff mentality of control the ball, keep the other, big firepower offenses off the field, but a more consistent and more controllable kind of atmosphere or game plan, because we're not relying on those big plays. Because it's just like a team that shoots a lot of threes. Well, you have a cold night, and you don't have no interior game or anything that has got a 10-foot jumper. You're going to lose, right? And I think that this offensive game plan is actually suited for a nice playoff run. So which of our running backs are you most pleased with, and see that's going to kind of maybe be our guy moving forward?
Well, I think this season K9 has definitely been the guy. I think K9's been our best guy. He's also the better fit for Kubiak's offense. Kubiak likes the outside zone. K9, very good at running outside zone because of his speed. Charbonnet, a little bit harder for him to get to the outside because he's slower. Also, one thing happening with Charbonnet this year, he needs a little bit of room to build up speed so he can actually like hit with force. And he often doesn't get it. And that's very different from the way K9 plays. And I am personally kind of mixed on whether or not I want to bring K9 back for next season and beyond, because I do understand that running backs, they get old very quickly. K9's already been a little injury prone, but I do think that for right now, he's a very good running back, and he is definitely my guy on this team. Now, both guys have a role that they can play. I think Charbonnet's better on third down. I think Charbonnet's better in certain situations, but I think Walker's the better player.
Sounds good. Hey, so before we start talking about some predictions, we have our next guest, and this is Bryce Hilton. Walt and I met him. Brenda, we met him at the tailgate in LA. He and his dad were there. And Pete, can you bring Bryce in? What's up, buddy?
Right.
What's up, guys?
What's up?
So you've been listening to Brendan, our expert. What are your thoughts on our offense and our defense so far this season, bud?
I definitely agree on like the running back room. I think K9 is a little bit better than Charbonnet, but I say that Charbonnet on like 3rd and inches, 3rd and 1, that's the guy you call out, and then he's gonna get that first. I think we have such threats as our receivers like JSN and Cooper Kupp and Rashid Shaheed deep that no matter what they do to try to stop us, we can run it, we can throw it, we can really do anything on offense.
What about the defense? What do you like about the defense, bud?
They play with an intensity, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of momentum, a lot of really good.
Yeah. Hey, well, so first, and I threw you right into the fire, but tell us how old you are, and I know you're playing football. Tell us what position you play.
All right, I'm 10 years old. I turn 11 early next year, and I play tight end and defensive end for the Thunder and Herd.
Very cool.
So, where are you? Are you in SoCal?
I live in Arizona.
Oh, you live in Arizona. Oh, you guys road tripped.
Yeah.
All right. And now you playing flag or you playing tackle?
Tackle.
All right.
I just finished my 2nd year of tackle. Yeah.
Nice.
All right. Did you come out to the takeover in Arizona? Did you and your dad come out to that?
Yeah, we came out to the Arizona Cardinals versus Seahawks game.
Oh, did you guys go to Salt? Did you guys go to Salt or the place across the street?
No, we didn't. We just went straight to
Okay, just went to the game?
Yeah.
All right. Well, we were out there. I was there with Earl Thomas and Marcus Trufant and a bunch of us. So next year, yeah, you and Pops will have to come hang out with us, and we're going to get Walt out there.
All right.
Yeah, so right on. All right. So we got now who you are and a little bit of your background. What are we thinking about next week's game? Why don't you start us off, Bryce?
So I think we come into the game with all the momentum. I'm pretty sure they're coming off of a losing streak to the Jets, right? And so I think we come in with the momentum, and if we can start off and play good with Sam Darnold in the first quarter, if we can get a lead in the first quarter, I think it's going to be close to over before that.
Yeah. What do you think, B? What do you think, Brendan?
Yeah, Atlanta seems like a team that's kind of just ready to fall over. Doesn't seem like they're all that invested in what's going on right now. Generally speaking, I think Kirk Cousins hasn't been the same since he tore his Achilles. Like, if you compare his footwork to before the injury to after it looks completely different.
Wow.
And he played well last week. I will say that, and his receivers really let him down. But overall, he's just not the same quarterback. Like, his lower body's completely messed up. And they blitz a lot. But unlike the Vikings, like, the Vikings are a very unique defense. They blitz a lot, but they blitz a lot while staying in too high. It's a very unique thing that they do. The Falcons are a little bit more traditional in terms of they blitz a lot. They're actually like second in the league in blitzing, but they are more likely to play single high and risk stuff and actually like give you opportunities to hit downfield passes because they blitz. So I think that you can kind of get back to some of the stuff that you did against teams like the Saints, teams like the Cardinals, teams like the even Tampa Bay, where you're taking advantage of the fact that they are exposing themselves deep down the field. So I think you just kind of go in there, you get up on them, and they probably just kind of roll over. They're already thinking about Cancun. They're already thinking about whatever it is they're going to do in the offseason because they're basically already eliminated. They could win out. I don't think it matters. So, yeah, feeling good.
And I would have to say, I would not want to be an immobile quarterback with our front.
Right. That's a big part of it, too.
Yeah. Because we have cats flying all over the place, man, and it's fun. It's fun to watch. How are we doing, Walt? I mean, do you know what our stats are? I mean, how are we doing sack wise? I know we're all around the quarterback, but are we getting them to the turf? Do you know?
I don't know where we're ranked on sacks per se. I would probably say top 10. I mean, we have a top 5 defense though.
Yes.
Across the board, though. So, I mean, I think we're leading the league in rushing defense.
Which is nice because we got Bijan coming in. I mean, that's one of the top backs in the league.
In the league there, yeah. So, I mean, we got 40 sacks on the season right now.
I believe we're 4th in sacks, if I remember correctly. But according to PFF, we're 1st in pressures. Wow. I think something like that.
Yeah.
Something like that.
So that doesn't bode well for old Kirk Cousins, who's a little long on the tooth, anyways, and a pocket quarterback.
You have one of the best secondaries. One of the best secondaries in the league. I mean, like I said, it's a top 5 defense, which again, it's putting us in a great position. I mean, we forced 5 turnovers on Sunday. We make it. If a team gets the team makes mistakes, we're capitalize on it. And I mean, again, for a secondary, having a defensive line that's able to create pressure. Obviously, we're creating pressure with blitzes as well. And so, that bodes well for our defense when you have such a strong back end that's being able to protect. I mean, we bring in corners too. We bring everyone in some capacity being able to force those pressures there. So, I mean, I like where we sit there going to Atlanta. I think Atlanta is always a trap game. When a team is 4-8, teams that are low like that, those are trap games because you see them that you're going to walk all over them. I mean, the Rams just lost to the Panthers. The Panthers are making that push, for their division right now. But it's it's one of those games to where you got to stay locked in. You can't look at their record because at the end of the day, it is still the NFL and Kirk's still a veteran. And I mean, it's going to come back down to stopping the run. I mean, that's going to be the point of emphasis and seeing if they can move the ball on us.
So as we look out from that, it's always the old adage of one game at a time, but we still have to take a look at how do we see this the rest of our season shaking out? I mean, doggone, who would have thought the Band-Aid Niners would be leading the division and winning games? Brandon, what do you think about the Niners overall? And I mean, are they going to get better? Are they getting healthy? And are they going to get better or?
Well, they're not going to get a lot of these guys back. Fred Warner's not coming back. Bosa's not coming back. Ayuk, I think they're just done with him. I don't know what's going on there, but it seems like they just want him to get out of town. And I think the one really interesting subplot here, two. Number one, honestly, Mac Jones looks better than Brock Purdy. Will they at some point maybe just yank it and go, okay, Mac's our quarterback for the rest of this year. Purdy's not right. Or will they do that knowing they just gave Purdy $250 million? And number two, Christian McCaffrey, he's going to end up with like 500 touches this season. How much longer can he do this before he wears down? Like, can he really get 30, 35 touches every single week and then still be able to perform in the postseason? So there's some very... I think the Niners are built on some very shaky ground here. They are really having to like get every last bit of juice they can out of players like McCaffrey and Kittle because their team is not deep enough to win otherwise. But when they get to the postseason, I do kind of feel like they're just going to fall over because they're going to have nothing left because they gave it all to get to that point.
Get to that point, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, so Price, so you're in Arizona, you're walking around, campus with your Seahawks gear on. Do people give you a hard time, or do they just go, we don't blame you because the Cardinals suck?
I know. So there's not a lot of Cardinals fans. There's more 49er fans than Cardinals fans. So
Is that right?
So my friend, one of my closest friends, he's a 49er fan, and we go back and forth like every day talking about that.
So what'd you think of Brandon's assessment of the Niners? Where do you think we're going to end the season, Price?
So I think there's a possibility we get that first bye and also the 5th seed,
Wow.
but I don't think we're gonna get anything lower than a 5th seed. And if the 49ers do keep doing what they're doing, by the time they get to the playoffs, they're just gonna break right there.
Yeah, I like that. But now we're not talking about the one team that really looks. I mean, and of course, beat us, and that's the Rams. What do you think about the Rams, Price?
I think we definitely have a good team. They just know what we do as a team, so they can stop that. But if we can just find ways to get around that, I think we can definitely beat them. Get on.
Yeah. What do you think? What do you think, Walt? What do you think about the Rams?
I'm not sold on the Rams.
Yeah.
At one point there was glimpses of it, but then seeing the Seahawks game, seeing the aspect of what we were able to do from a defensive standpoint, and still be in the game after throwing 4 interceptions.
4 interceptions.
I mean,
that
kind of, I think it just said a lot about the makeup of the team, but also more importantly, like the defense that we have there, or like the defense is keeping us in games, and like that's like it's been a focal point, like we've known it, but then like when you have a game like that go against the Rams and you completely shut them down to where they moved the ball early, but then it was stalemate through the rest of the the majority of that game there. And we're giving them field position. We're giving them the ball within red zone, scoring opportunity. They're automatically coming off with 3 points. So I mean, seeing that fight from the defense is always encouraging because you're going to need that as we can continue to get deeper into the postseason. I didn't like the aspect of seeing how rattled Sam was in that game, because for me as a defensive coordinator, if I'm a defensive coordinator or a defense, I'm like, hey, we gotta get pressure on him because he's gonna turn the ball over. And that's what I'm looking at. So, I mean, if people are really watching the film and they're scheming in that capacity, I mean, again, even the Minnesota game, I mean, that game was tight. The score suggested otherwise, but if you're watching that game was way closer than what the score suggests, though.
Right, because we didn't do a lot offensively.
We did. Yeah, I mean,
won that game.
Yeah, exactly. And we got the pick 6 that changed it. We were kicking field goals. Right. I mean, we just couldn't really get past the 30 within that, trying to really punch it in the end zone. So, I mean, and that's the Vikings, that, which again, good defense coordinator. I think they have a good scheme within that regard. But I mean, looking at the rest of the season, I mean, the Colts are playing well. I mean, that's not going to be a rollover game. Obviously, we got the Rams at home, and then Carolina, and then the Niners. I mean, so we have a tough little stretch, but I mean, it's playoff football though. Once we get out of this week, I think it's the mentality should be playoff football. Every game is going to count and going to matter, and really just getting ourselves geared up for this long run. Because if you're trying to win a Super Bowl, that's what you're looking at right there. That's what makes a Super Bowl team, is that stretch of games that we're going to be facing in the gauntlet right there.
So, hey, Brendan, we got. I would say the big game on this, other than the divisional games, are the Colts, because I mean, when you talk about a running game, holy smokes, you've got the best runner in the league now, and what do you have? 250 yards in that German game, and I mean, he just goes, and that's, I would say, probably maybe one of our areas that. I know we're ranked, but we haven't played a great running game.
I mean, he's coming up on 1,300 yards on the season. So
yeah. So what do you? How are we doing? 2 things I want to ask you, Rank, because you're right there in Seattle. I mean, this is your thing. One, are we getting better at home? And two, what do you think about this Colts game that's on the? I know it's down the way, but let's talk about it.
I'm pretty satisfied with the way the home games are going right now. It feels like things are getting better. The thing to keep in mind is in football, there's always this small sample element because you only play 17 games a year. It's not like baseball or basketball where you play games endlessly. So every now and then you're going to have this trend that picks up that makes things look really bad or good in one way or another, that it's not necessarily indicative that something was happening. And also, I think the other element here is that this Seahawks team has not played a home playoff game in front of, I want to say, 2016. So I think that if you get to the playoffs and you have that home playoff game, because we played at home in the playoffs in 2020, but that was COVID. I don't think there was anybody at the stadium except the players.
Right.
So I think there's going to be a different energy from the crowd that is going to affect that game. So that's kind of where I feel about that. I want to play at home. I know that we're doing great on the road. I know we almost always win on the road now, but I still want this team to play at home as much as possible.
Yeah. And what do you think? What do you think about the Colts matchup? I think that's probably I really think we could beat every other team. I think the Colts are probably our toughest matchup. What do you think about it, Brendan?
I gotta be honest. I'm not really feeling them anymore. They got a quarterback playing through a broken leg or whatever it is. Like, if you watch Daniel Jones in that Texans game, he does not look right at all. He can't really move. He shouldn't be out there. He's out there because I understand he's worked so hard to get to this point. He's playing so well. The Colts are doing so good. And then he gets hurt, and it's got to be like, I can't let it end like this. I got to stay out there. But he should not be out there. Like he looks awful. So that's completely kind of messed things up. And now they got no Sauce Gardner for probably a couple weeks. So that's their best cornerback. Like, that's definitely going to alter things a little bit. And their big trade acquisition at the deadline. So I kind of feel like the Colts are going to stumble a little bit here, because those are two of their best players. You got, of course, Jonathan Taylor, but then Daniel Jones and Sauce Gardner. They needed those guys. And
who's their backup right now?
It's either Anthony Richardson or
he's down on IR still.
Maybe, but maybe they still have Sam Ellinger. Remember the Longhorn from several years ago?
Okay, yeah.
Oh no, it is Riley Leonard, the Notre Dame quarterback last year.
So, once again, and I didn't know, and I actually, the other show I do, it was mentioned that Daniel Jones is injured, but man, that's not good. That's not good, especially when you are going to face the number one Russia in the league. Pressures, where are you going to go? And I think our defensive front is licking their chops on these next couple of games. Price, I saw you shaking your head when Brendan was talking, going, "Yeah, the Colts, they're not they're not as good." What do you think, buddy?
So almost what Brendan said. I think if we can just get pressure to Jonathan Taylor, make sure he can't, because Jonathan Taylor is really good when it comes to those breakaway long runs, because they're not as good if they're not as good unless if he's breaking away on most of those plays. So I think if we can just bring it good pressure, Daniel Jones can't do anything for that.
Mm-hmm.
So now, hey, Price, have you been to a game at Lumen?
Yes, I went to. So my aunt last year had a wedding, and me and my dad always go to like one away game, like out of Arizona, and so we were in Seattle and we played the Rams. And we went to that one. So that's the only time I've been there.
Pretty cool stadium, huh?
Yeah, it's really loud.
It's really loud. Yeah. You know what? I will tell you though, Price, I've been to a lot of games at SoFi, the one that we went to. And that's the loudest I've heard SoFi. And because normally there's more like visiting fans than Rams fans. But SoFi, Walt, did you hear? You were in, right?
Yeah.
Well, Walt, because Walt,
it was loud. It was loud. It's louder than it usually is.
Usually then, and I'll tell you, Price, that game that we went to with when Seattle was playing the Cardinals, usually we outnumber the Cardinals fans,
Oh,
but this year actually the Cardinals actually had a pretty good showing because it was early in the season and they had high hopes.
Because they were, I think they were like 2-1 or something.
Yeah. And yeah, there were a lot of people expecting that the Cardinals might win the division at that point. They looked, they looked good, but now they're the Cardinals. So yeah. So did your dad ever go to a Kingdome game?
I don't think he did. He might have, but I
Okay.
don't think he ever told me.
I don't know. I met your dad just for a brief moment, and I'm thinking maybe he might be too young. which is sad. This is the moment of the show where I get to talk about how old I am. But Price, preseason, did you expect the Seahawks to be as good as they are? Be honest. This is be honest.
I thought this team was still rebuilding. Maybe take a couple more years, maybe one more year to get a couple more players to really help out the offense, really help out the defense. But then I was like, I saw like the first 3 weeks of the season. I definitely think we should have beat the Niners in that week 1 game. But after those first couple of weeks, after that blowout against the Saints, I was like, oh yeah, we're definitely good. And then, because like last season and the season before, no matter who we played, I would get worried. Like, because the Seahawks were a team that would go up and then they would go down like that. But they could lose to anybody last season. Now they play like bad teams. Like if they played not necessarily bad teams, but not as good teams, like the Vikings, and we just like beat them and be on top every time. So I'm not worried about much anymore.
Yeah. Well, I get to because we do a show, we can roll the tape. I can have producer Pete go and roll the tape. Is that Walt and I we both predicted at least 10 game win, and I think we did that preseason last year because the over and under was 7.5 games. I liked what we did in the off season last year, but I don't gamble. So that's why it's happening. See, if I would have put money on it, Price, if I would have put $1 on it, it would have ruined it for all of us. Because you don't gamble, just enjoy sports. All right, that's our advice. All right, guys. Hey, final predictions. What do you think, Brendan? What do you think we do the remainder of the season? I mean, it is a prediction. But if we just look at the games we have, where do you see us finishing? Do you think we have a really good chance to win the division?
Well, if you want to win the division, you probably have to win out. You probably have to win all these games because, and this is something that we knew even before the season started. The NFC West had a pretty easy schedule this year.
Yeah.
Like the Niners more so than anybody else, but we all did really like. The Niners have the easiest schedule in football, but we're not far behind. Neither are the Rams, neither are the Cardinals. So what I'm thinking is we're going to have to win out if we want to win the division. And I feel like that we can do that. I'm looking at this and it all comes back to that Rams game. And here's the thing with that Rams game, Thursday night at home, you really want to be the home team on a Thursday game. Because it's the short week, the players hate it. But if you get to stay at home and not have to travel on that short week, it's such an advantage. Yeah. So that's something that I think kind of swings things our way. And then you play the Niners in the last game of the year. Like I said, I think the Niners are going to just run out of gas at some point because they are taxing their top players so much to win games right now. Like, again, they're giving the ball to Christian McCaffrey so much. It's hard for me to believe he's going to have anything left for the end of the year. So I like the way this is going, and I think we can do it.
Yeah. I'll tell you, scheduling is a quirky deal, but a friend of mine owns Niner season tickets, and he's given me his season tickets for the Seahawks game the past 3 years, and it's always been the last game. And the Niners have been at home because we've gone. And I find it odd that that's how this season is going to end too, and that could be for the division. That could be a pretty neat game. Shoot, I had a question for you, Walt. It'll come to me. But what are your thoughts, Bud, about how the season is going to wrap up and where we're heading?
Yeah, I mean, Brandon hit on the head there. I mean, to win the division, I mean, I think we got to win out or 4-1. But I mean, obviously we have to beat the Rams and Niners to be able to win the division. If we don't beat those guys, it doesn't even matter at that point, regardless of how the season even falls out. If they lose games and things of that nature, so we have to beat those guys for sure. I mean, I can see us, optimistically, I think we could go 5-0 through the rest of the season. Right, but I think we can also go. I think 4-1 could be realistic as well there, and still have an opportunity to be able to win the division. Though I don't think if we lose a game, I don't think that calls it for us. I think it does. Like I said, I think we are in that playoff mentality though. I think it's like every game matters, every game counts, and we really can't afford to lose any game because even though the schedule is tough, our division is pretty tough though, right? Those teams, the Rams and Niners, can still go win games, right? Depending on who they're playing the rest of the season there. So I mean, yeah, I think it is going to be very crucial. I think right now we're in that phase of like we have to worry about ourselves, and that means it's fixing the different cracks in the shield, so to speak, to be able to go to withstand blows as we get into the postseason. So I think winning the division, yeah, that's looking for home field advantage, right? Possibly looking for that bye, but I think we still have opportunity. I think we're still in the playoffs, right? That's the mentality. We're still in the playoffs regardless, if we win the division or not. It's just a matter if we're going to be on the road or if we're going to be at home. That's how I look at it. And so, I think it's more of how deep in the postseason are we looking to go, and we have to fix that. And I think right now it's like we talked about, it's revamping that offense and playing to the mode of where we're at, like Brandon hit it on the head there, to where you have guy that is running 4-3, low 4-3. You got to respect that guy, and he's a ball player. And so and obviously you have JSN, which again he's more of that intermediate guy to where he's one of the most shiftiest guys on the field up in any given moment, and he turns mid-tier play into a home run real quick. Again, run the ball. Got to run the ball.
So, and I know, Price, I know you're going to agree. I saw you shaking your head, yes, and you already said actually that you think that we have a really good chance to win out. But you also said something interesting, is that, and this is typically what we've done in the past few years, and as we play down to opponents. And Walt, you said it. This could be the trap game, right? This could be the one where already looking at the Niners, already looking at the Rams, and because the Colts are leading their division. Yeah. So we're going into the lowly Falcons with their 40-year-old quarterback that's hobbled. So it'll be interesting. I do want to ask, who is your surprise defensive player so far this year? Walt.
My surprise defensive player?
Yeah, I mean, because everyone had we had the draft picks, we had the names, we had guys that had some.
It was talking with Cliff Avery about the game there. I think the pickup of Leonard Williams and what he's able to do, at this point of his career, I think is very huge, because you have someone that's a veteran leader that can help mentor these young guys in the defensive line, but he's also he's leading the team in sacks. So I mean, it's like,
is he really?
He has 7 sacks.
Yeah, wow. See, I would have thought like Uchenna or Mafia or Rush ends or something. Wow.
Well, again, a lot of our stats are coming from scheme too, and that was one thing that me and Cliff were talking about. It was guys are benefiting from the scheme and the twists and the stunts, but then you have a guy like Leonard who can just dominate one-on-one. Right. And so that's a totally different dynamic at any position. Right. Some guys are just, product of their scheme, and some guys can go be in any scheme and just dominate because that's just the players they are. And I think he's one of those guys that we're kind of see emerge as, you give him the one-on-one, he's forcing a lot of pressure and he's getting sacks from the interior.
What do you think?
From the interior.
Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Defensive tackle. Yeah. Yeah. That's impressive. So Price, who's your standout defensive player so far this year?
Probably DeMarcus Lawrence.
Wow. Well, he did have
another vet.
I thought he would come into the season as like a look up from the young guys, because we have a lot of young guys on our team. I think he would help them, but he's really helping the defense out. he's not letting anybody get it to the outside, and our D tackles like Leonard Williams can definitely contain them inside. So I think he's doing a great job.
Yeah. Hey, that's a nice pull because that number 0, you see him in the backfield, and then 2 scooping scores. I mean, that's historical stuff. Hey, that's a good pull. What about you, Brendan? Who's your standout? Maybe one that you didn't expect going into the season, but it's really kind of stepped up, consistent, and making this defense hum.
Well, I don't want this to be misinterpreted because I did like him a lot, but I would actually say Nick Eamon-Wari.
Yeah.
And the reason why I say that is because he's 21 years old and only was on South Carolina for 3 years.
Uh-huh.
So you wouldn't necessarily expect him to become an every down player as a rookie. You would expect him to take some time, but he really kind of, ever since he got back from the injury, he's basically started, and I know he does make the occasional mistake. I know there are problems there, but not nearly as much as I would have thought. I would have thought that if you threw him out there as a 21-year-old rookie, he would have made mistakes constantly, and it would have been learning on the job every single week. It really hasn't been.
Yeah. Well, you know what? It's amazing. I saw a quote on social media, and it was him and Witherspoon, walking on the practice field, and Spoon goes, "Hey, this kid's 21 years old. He's 6'4", 220." I mean, well, a safety, 6'4". I mean, that's a big cat.
Yeah, that was Cam.
Yeah.
I mean,
was Cam that big? Yeah.
Yeah, he's 6'3", 6'4". I mean, he was 230. I mean, 235. I mean, Cam. I mean, yeah. I mean,
yeah. See, that and Price. I'm just gonna tell you that didn't happen in the '80s. Now, I was big. I was 6'7", 360. But a guy that size is gonna sit you because he's coming with momentum. You know, and that's one of those ones where you don't want to see a DB and then have film on Monday where a DB just freaking lit you up because you're going next level blocking.
I mean, Cam could put a highlight tape of all the offensive alignments that he's destroyed. Like he got just a highlight tape of that.
Oh, we should get on that. That would be awesome. It would be, hey, if you could reach out to him, it'd be fun to have him on the show, and we'll do the Cam. Actually, we wouldn't have time for the show if we did a Cam highlight video. That'd be an hour long. But all right, guys. Hey, any other last thoughts? This is we're wrapping up, and we're 2/3 through the way of a season. We're not surprising anybody anymore. I think now there's expectations. Now there's analytics. Now people are going, wow, this team's actually could be for real. But any parting thoughts, Brendan, of where we're at and what you see this season doing?
Not really anything other than what we've already discussed. I mean, things are coming together about as well as you could have hoped, and I want to see what happens next. But I mean, we're definitely going in the right direction. Whatever happens the rest of the way, like we got the right coach, we got the right coordinators, we got the right foundational players, and we're headed in the right area.
Well, you know what, too, and this doesn't get discussed often enough, I think, and that is our management, our ownership, and our head office. I think we're making good moves. I think there's good continuity because you look at a team like the Browns, and you look at their roster, and you're thinking, holy smokes! I mean, this is one that every year one of the best defenses. There's a lot of talent there, and Walt, I know of guys that have played for the Browns. I know of guys that have played for the Browns, and the one constant you hear is the head office and management makes it difficult to want to play there. And I think our players want to play for the coaches and everything else that we have going. I think there's just a whole positive unit. And I think that's what we're trying to see now with this emergence of surprising people. People think we're only going to win 7.5 games, and we're going to far surpass that. But Bryce, anything else that you were hoping to mention, or do you want to ask Walt, or anything else? You got 5 minutes, buddy. Because we just start talking sometimes. I just want to make sure that you have some time. If there's anything else that you were hoping to share or wanted to ask Walt or Brendan, that for that matter.
Yeah, not really. Just a bunch of people tell me that the Seahawks have had a pretty easy schedule, And I think this last season stretch will definitely test if I know we're a playoff contender because when we play those easy teams, we beat them by a lot. So I think this last stretch will definitely show people that the Seahawks are real Super Bowl contenders.
Right on. Now, do you still go to Cardinals games?
I only go to the Cardinals Seahawks games. That's kind of it.
All right. Good. So then you are a real fan.
Mhm.
Now wait. So do you? And what if somebody invited you to a Cardinals game and they're playing the Niners? Would you wear your Seahawks uniform?
Oh yeah.
All right. Good. All right. You can hang out with us then, Price, anytime, buddy. And hopefully you're done. Oh, you know what else? Tell everybody what you won at that. So Cedric, who runs the backstage here, has done a huge tailgate every year. And we meet Price and John, and we started doing a raffle. And this kid, it was like Christmas, man. He had headphones. He had was it Sean Alexander?
Yeah, and then it's right here actually.
Oh.
And then I also got those wristband things that had the 2013 Super Bowl champs or whatever. There was 15.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. You scored, man. And did the beats work?
Yeah, they do. So on the way back from our road trip, my dad took my mom's Tesla, and she has a little screen in the back. And my dad's so sometimes I'll stay up in the front for a couple hours, and then I'll get tired, and I'll turn on a show in the back to help me. And so I have to connect it with the speakers in my dad's car, but I just connect those beats to the car, and it works perfectly.
Well, and did you have a good time?
Oh yeah, 100%.
All right.
Not only the game, it was just the experience.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, hopefully you guys make it out again next year. Stay in touch. Follow us. This is for everybody. Talk with a W 12. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Like us, follow us, subscribe, and then you might be able to join us just like Price did. Because Price, what do? We met you. And we go, want to come on the show?
Yeah.
Yeah, and there we go. So, and we'll do the same thing. We just go through our list of followers, and we'll pick a name, and we'll send you a message just going, hey, you want to join us and hang out with former players and talk Seahawks football. So I'm glad you're able to join us, buddy. I appreciate you. Brendan, always great to have you, buddy, because you've got all of that insight and follow. How's your show going?
Good, man. Good. Still just moving
along. Tell everybody where you're at now. You've got a couple of things going.
Yeah, I'm Seahawks Brendan Nelson on YouTube, Seahawks BN on places like X, and I'm on Bleacher Report doing videos over there on Seahawks BN. So I'm all over the place, but some version of that, either Seahawks Brendan Nelson or Seahawks BN. So SBN in some cases, and that's you can find me one version or another pretty much everywhere.
Yeah. And I know you started the Bleacher Report, I think was this year, right? How's that going?
Great.
Good.
Hope to keep it going into next year and going forward.
Right on. Well, hey, everyone follow Brendan because he's the expert on everything. And Walt, this week, hopefully, maybe you can bring the family out. We'll do the watch party in Huntington Beach. You can walk down to the pier. The kids can just walk down to the pier. It's just a couple blocks off the beach. It's really
an early game.
It's an early game. Yep. Yep. So, hey guys, thanks for joining us. And guys, what do we say, man? Go Hawks, right?
Hey, go Hawks.
Go Hawks.
Go Hawks. See you next week.